morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose, where we are transforming lives, building dreams, and revealing love. And where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. Welcome home. My name is Marcia Bancala, and I'm a member of your core council and a licensed practitioner. And this is Maureen Ross, a soon-to-be minister and our practitioner of the day. And we'd like to give a very warm welcome to those of you who might be here for the first time. We're very honored that this is how you've chosen to spend your Sunday morning. And if you have more questions about who we are or what we do here, I'd love for you to go into Fellowship Hall after the service, where you can go to our concierge desk and ask questions, pick up a welcome packet, or you can pick up a welcome packet on your way out of the foyer. Today's flowers are the gift of Paul and Jackie Kukine in celebration of another year of marriage. And here we love celebrating community together, so if you'll take a moment and turn to somebody near you and say hello. We begin each service by sitting in silence together. So if you'll take a moment to make sure your mobile devices are turned off, join us in the chant, and then sit in 2 minutes of silence.
We are surrounded in this sacred silence as we enter this prayer. The one that is joy is joying us. The one that loves is loving as us. It breathes, it moves, it sails the calm seas. It guides us as true north in the turbulent times. It is the full moon that rose at 8:15 this morning. It's true. There's the sun and the moon at the same time, and that is what I call God. It is in the beautiful music that is the soundtrack in our minds. It is the prayer that prays me. And so as I know this for myself, I speak for you, and we enter this time together in wonder and joy. We are grateful to be here. We found our way, and we are the way. And so I release this word into the law, which makes it so, because I know love points the way, law makes the way possible. And together we say, and so it is. And we turn our hearts to affirmation. My inner guide keeps me on the pathway of life and directs me at all times to that which is right and best. I shall never be without this witness of the Spirit, for I believe in it and accept it as the great companion of the soul.
Strong enough to bear the burden that sometimes I'm living this thing called life. Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God I am the place and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Shows up. And will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? And will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God I am the place and breathes and has you are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God
Good morning. I'm Ann Marshall, and I'm a member of this church. It'll be a year in December, an awesome year. A few months ago, Dr. David spoke on the topic of the warrior road. It particularly resonated with me. I went home, I made some notes. I never thought of myself as a warrior, but as I listened to Dr. David outline the 3 behaviors and traits of a warrior, it occurred to me, I am a warrior. I didn't even know it. I wanted to share my story with you today. About in the 80s, I was a stay-at-home mom, married to a Silicon Valley engineer. I had 3 kids under the age of 6. Having thought I had the life that I created, a nice house, a beautiful car, a boat, a vacation home, something was missing. One day I was vacuuming, and I thought to myself, I am the loneliest married person I know. My life was so empty. I didn't feel loved. It was time for a change. There has to be more to life than this, I kept thinking. There has to be more to life. I was heading down a path I would not know would be so bumpy. I was afraid. I was worried. How do I leave this marriage? The messages in my head haunted me. How could I get out of this? I would go to bed at night and actually fall asleep trying to plan my escape. So I had the courage, number 1, to file for divorce, knowing I had to do this for my survival, for my children. I felt the pain, the loss of all my hopes and dreams, but I took action anyway. Second, I had faith, that thing inside me that told me I was doing the right thing. I had to do this, against all odds, when my family would say, but he has such a good job. He dresses so nice. Even some friends at the time would say, who'd want a woman with 3 children? Some very hurtful, unsupportive statements. Even a therapist said, hang in there, work through it, your marriage will be stronger. But I knew in my heart it was over. This person did not want to get well, to get better. I had to get out. I was doing the right thing and I never gave up. Thirdly, discipline, to follow the process to the bitter end. It was a long 3-year battle. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, 89 court dates. Remember, he was an engineer, he kept a spreadsheet. My ex was in and out of jail. Child support was inconsistent. I never gave up and I never gave in. I hear people here speak of difficulties they've overcome and I admire them so much. Yet I never thought to admire myself. Give myself a pat on the back. When I met my fiance, Kenny, one of the first gifts he gave me was a statue that says courage. It touched me so much that this one person who we hadn't been in each other's lives for about 25 years, although I knew him when I was 15, he was my first boyfriend in high school. He really got me. He could see what I went through, and he knew I had courage. In July, I had another opportunity to show forgiveness and compassion when my ex-husband was taken to ICU for yet another detox DT treatment. He was there for 29 days. I was there helping, doing his laundry. Although it's been 18 years that we've been divorced, my heart still felt sad. I remind myself, Dave is free to make other choices and get different results. I am pleased to say that my 3 grown children are doing great. I've taught them about choice, to choose happiness. They know courage, faith, and discipline, although they struggle with discipline. I think that's a hard trait to apply at their age. So in closing, what I want to leave you with is to think about the warrior inside of you. Give yourself credit. Thank you.
So, good morning. Bad kid. Did that rock or what? So, we had some more friends come in from Mexico, and they were staying in San Francisco, and I went on a bike ride that day, Friday, and Mauricio called me from Union Square to say, I just went to pick up the Mexicans, and well, he's Mexican. He can say that. He said, I just went to pick up the Mexicans, and he somehow got in the middle of the parade. He was in the middle of it all. And he said, what size shirt do you want? So between services, so many folks approached me and said, David, you look really tired. Are you okay? I am tired. I'm exhausted. Let me tell you why. Because you're going to wonder. It's not just because I'm getting older. Last night, our condo faces the clubhouse, which is available to any of the residents who rents it. And there was a particularly large Latino party going on. And it was at 10 o'clock, and I knew it was time for bed in order for me to have enough sleep to get here and avoid comments such as, you're so tired. So we have this beautiful practice in our building. We don't call security, and we don't call the concierge, and we don't go complain. We go directly to the party. Okay? Well, we go to tell them, party's over. So I said, Mauricio, you do it. And I was in the living room waiting, and an hour later, he still hadn't come back. So, I forgot. What he says is he goes into these places, he said, if you're going to keep me up, give me a beer. So it was a 40-year-old's birthday party. It was a young 40-year-old woman, and she was there with her whole family and extended family. And when I walked out to see where Mauricio was, I looked into the clubhouse, and there they were, all these adults laying on their backs, spinning each other around, doing breakdancing. It was stunning. So I didn't get to sleep until way, way, way late, or really, really early. And as we were helping them load their cars just before sunset, it was so cute. They asked what I did for a living, and I told them I needed to be here for church. So at 6:45 this morning, as I was leaving my building, the father of the 40-year-old who was celebrating her birthday, he was in our driveway, and he opened his trunk and pulled out trays of food from last night and put them in my car and said, take them to your church. So there you go. I'm full and I'm tired. But it's okay, because this is the best day ever. Not only do we have the choir, we have a special guest today. She is a mentor and a role model for me, seriously. When I don't know what to do, when done asking what would Jesus do, I ask what would Margaret do. I always know what she would do. She would push through it, whatever it is, or knock them over. And when I worked at Home Office, this was in 1997, I worked at Home Office. I had moved from being the assistant minister at the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, and I was hired to be the manager of something called Growth, Education, and Ministries. So my department helped churches and practitioners with education and growth and challenges. Well, my superior was an elected woman. She was elected as president of the church, which is the equivalent, seriously, of what the Pope is for the Catholic Church, only we called her our Popette. Our Popette is here today. She has a new book, and she's going to be speaking to you. Her name is Reverend Dr. Margaret Stortz.
He is so bad. I'm glad you do. You know, what can I tell somebody that I went to a church and stood next to a guy wearing a bad kid shirt? Don't encourage him.
Please sit down so I may.
Yeah, okay. I decided since at the last service we were so goofy that this time we'd be serious.
She doesn't know. Second service, it doesn't get better, it gets worse. But you intuitively knew this, right? Yeah.
Enough of that. Okay.
So I was asking first service, I asked Reverend Dr. Margaret to tell us what was one of the funniest things that ever happened to her in her ministry. And
Oh yeah, I remember because I had to fish it out. It was a time when we had as a guest for us Dr. Barbara King from the wonderful church in Atlanta. How many of you know Dr. King? Some of you. Okay. Well, let me tell you that she is a very tall black lady, probably 6'6". Yeah, she is something else to have on a stage with you. And so when the two of us were standing there together, you can imagine how interesting that was. So we had talked beforehand. I said, okay, we won't tell any short jokes. So we sat down, I got up, and I introduced her and so forth and so on, promptly told a short joke. And she said to me, you said you weren't going to tell any short jokes. I said, I lied. We had such a good time.
it's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I really appreciate you. You have a new book out, and the book is called Essays on Everything, From the Sublime to the Ridiculous with a Little in Between. And I was hoping that maybe you would read a little bit to us.
I thought you'd never ask. It is good to be here. It is very good to be here. And I would want to remind everybody that I am here to sell books. Okay? You know, he is right. It gets worse at the second service.
Oh, but before you do, tell us what your granddaughter said about your book.
Oh. One of my adult grandchildren is a wag anyway. And she said, Nana, you wrote a bathroom book. Because the essays are of a size that, depending on what it is you have in mind, when you go into the bathroom, it can take 1 or 2 essays, or maybe 3 or 4. They're very small, and they give you just a little bite of something to think about. Some of them are ridiculous, like the one I'm going to share with you. A few lines, just a few lines. This one has a title. They're all entitled On, and then the subject matter. And this one is said on chocolate. Yeah, and it's part of the lines are, and white chocolate? What was the chocolatier thinking of when he came up with that? All our conscious living tells us that white chocolate is a sin against nature. Chocolate is brown, vanilla is white, and never the twain shall meet. I want to give you a few lines from something that's a little more in between, that is one of my pleasures and delights, and it's called On Being the Salt of the Earth. I have a beautiful child who is the salt of the earth. She is the mustard seed fully grown into a leafy bush, sheltering all within the shade of her branches. She is the one who does whatever needs to be done without complaint or second thoughts. Little tasks that often go unheralded, large tasks as a simple matter of course. She is herself a world of creativity, and yet she provides a gantry that lets others fly from her into their own destinies. Not wasting time on unnecessaries, she is a respite, a still point in her world, a place where others may come for a quiet reprieve from the blowing winds of their life's demands. She is the salt of the earth. Thank.
That makes me kind of weepy.
It's supposed to. it's that kind of a essay.
Can you read the one about mother?
Oh, the one about mother.
Yeah, while you do that, I'm going to tell you about my sister Donna.
Okay, go ahead.
Donna has a 3-year-old grandbaby, and Donna said to her grandbaby, "I'm pooped." And the 3-year-old said, "Oh, don't worry, Grandma. I can take you to the bathroom and clean that up and put some lotion on it so it feels better." Seriously, true story.
Oh, that is, that's wonderful. This one is on mothers. A few lines. Mothers work from the heart of forgiveness more than anyone I know. Time and time again, things do not turn out the way they would like, and people disappoint, perhaps even a beloved child. They know the meaning of second chances and are willing to give them, and maybe thirds and fourths and fifths. When the Master Jesus was asked how often one should forgive, he replied, 70 times 7, which implies continual forgiveness. Perhaps he was thinking of mothers. There.
So our world is facing an uncertainty about what to do and how to move beyond our sense of paralysis while we're watching sisters and brothers in the Philippines who are suffering. Do you have any advice for us who are here?
Whenever there is something, whether it's humongous like that or really small, very, very personal, very close in, it doesn't matter which. The first thing we go to is prayer. That is what we have at our behest at all times. And a spiritual community should know that and be on hand to, first of all, engage in prayer, engage in the idea of enclosing everybody in oneness, lifting everybody in love, putting forth the idea of healness. And then, if there are footprints on the ground you want to make, you can do that. You can choose what the avenue is for you that you would like to engage in. There are tons of places that are gathering food and clothes, which are absolutely necessary, or giving forth money to some of the big agencies that are hurrying up to do this. This is an American tradition, you know. Who are the first people on hand for a tragedy? Americans. We know why.
What do you think of the new health care plan?
Let me
Let me rephrase that. I just wanted to see what would happen. And I'm only doing this because she's got an audience now, and
Yeah.
if she hurt me, you guys would all be my witnesses.
Yeah, well, without looking into the politics of it, I had hoped, truly hoped, when this was budding and beginning, that we could truly have a healthcare system that would serve all of the people in our country. I truly want that. I truly long for it. And I, rather than getting all steamed up about this, I am going to trust that there is a way to work this out so that it can bring the promise it gave us. So that's part of my prayer every day.
Our topic is acceptance and surrender. Give us some advice on acceptance and surrender.
Well, let's go. Last time we went backwards, forwards. This time we'll go forwards and backwards, just to confuse the young man. You know, it's really nice being here. I don't have to do anything. I just can wave my hand and everybody laughs. But seriously, in the world of acceptance, think about the other side of what that means. On the other side of acceptance is resistance. And I remember listening to my precious Victor, my husband, about the idea of acceptance of whatever is and the idea of non-resistance. That's another piece of this. So he was practicing non-resistance like crazy. And this was many, many years ago when we were first married, and his former wife was really upset with him. And she would call, and he'd be over there talking to her on the phone. I could be sitting across the room, and I could hear her. I don't know how she managed to get that loud, but she did. And I could hear some of the interesting things she was saying to him. And he would just stand like a Buddha. He would take it all and respond appropriately. And then when the phone call was over, I would say, "Why do you do that? Why do you put up with so much anguish that way?" And he says, "If I don't resist it, it's like opening a door here and opening a door there and letting the wind blow through it so it doesn't bang anything on its way out." And man, I tell you, he was the wisest thing. So
I should have invited him today.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, you should have. So he, in this instance, he accepted what was. Have I missed something? Did I miss something here? But anyway, he understood that if you take whatever it is and let it pass through you, if it's not yours to have, that's a good handle on acceptance. When it is something that is yours to have, you open yourself. One of the things I like to talk about these days is openness to good. That's one of the phrases I just love, openness to good. And in openness to good, to be able to have that, enjoy it, there must be non-resistant acceptance of what's on hand. Now, the other side is what was it? What'd you ask me?
Surrender.
Surrender, that's right. You know and I know that we've seen all these cowboy movies. And in these cowboy movies, when somebody loses, they have to say, "I surrender," like the cowboys that have to give up, which means I lost, I'm hopeless, there's nothing I can do here, I surrender. But there's a wonderful metaphysician who was in New York named Irvin Seal, who wrote a wonderful book called Learn to Live, which was a commentary, a metaphysical commentary on the parables. And one of the comments that he made was around surrender. And he said, surrender does not mean I give up. It means I give over. I give over to God. Whatever it is that I can't handle, whatever it is that God is better at than I am, which is everything, it means I surrender. Surrender is one of the best practices in the world. We could practice it absolutely every day. And if we surrendered this little thing, that little thing, the other little thing, they would not grow to be big things. And we would not carry around a big invisible sack of bad stuff with us from the past if we surrendered every day.
Thank you. Not much of a segue, but why do you think it was that, for what reason do you believe they elected you as president of the church?
Oh, I'd hoped he'd ask that. It's because, as Fred Vogt one time came, we were talking about something and working on something together, and he and I were talking, and he said, he told me that I was austere. And I said, "What? That's a heck of a thing to say to me." So he said, "Well, how about little, cute, and sexy?" And I figured that's why they elected me as president. But no, seriously, I had done a lot of organizational work, and and in my church I was known for some of the things that I did, and I loved the organization. I loved the opportunity to serve it. So when the opportunity to be president came up, I knew that it was mine, because for a long time people would say, "Why don't you run for president? Why don't you run for president? Why don't you run for president?" But I kept getting a big black hole that said no. And then all of a sudden, one day, it said yes. And that was the time for me. And wouldn't you know, I got into one of the roughest, toughest times in all of the United Church. People were going crazy. There was a big race problem. And there am I, in the midst of all of it, thinking, why me? Nevertheless, we lived through all of it. We moved through all of it. As he said earlier, we pushed and made an opening. We did a lot of healings, and we went forward. So that, I guess, was my job to do.
Thank you, and it was done beautifully. It was a pleasure to serve under you.
He was great fun, let me tell you.
Don't
He
tell
was
him.
so vigorous. Yeah, don't tell him. Yeah, he was so vigorous. He was so excited. He was so full of energy that we literally had to nail one foot to the floor every day. You should see the hole that's still there.
Well, since I've come here, they've added a few more right here.
Oh God, don't encourage him.
No.
Don't.
So you, as the president, you spend a lot of time assessing locations that were struggling or facing difficulty and wondering whether or not to keep their doors open or to close them. So you really have a good grasp on the health or challenges of a community, would you say?
Some, yes, I used to, and I do some more regionally. But
Given
I have
that, what do you think about this place?
this place. This place is fabulous. What can I say? Come on. That's a gotcha. You know that.
Well, I know. I'm just tell them.
No, it's a wonderful. This is a wonderful place. It's a grand community. I've enjoyed every time I've been here. He was away a couple years ago, and he got the dinosaurs of religious science to come down. Me and J. Scott Neal. While you were away, you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
We're still cleaning up.
Yeah, I think something happened. I don't know what it was, but we piled all the chairs in the front of the sanctuary and set them on fire.
She had not seen, Dr. Stortz had not seen our garden or our labyrinth until today.
Yes, it's beautiful. You have such a wonderful invitation. The way the front is now, it just invites people through the door. It's so beautifully done. Plus the fact you have an external labyrinth. And how terrific is that? Dr. David told me that even the neighbors are coming around and using it, and that they're beginning to bring little gifts and put them on the labyrinth.
Yeah, we find in the morning in the center of the labyrinth, oftentimes there'll be a flower or a candle or a little note card with someone's name on it.
And I hope that's all the kind of stuff they bring.
So, in this very room, Dr. Margaret, there are people who are facing life-threatening illness. As a doctor of religious science, what would you recommend?
Well, not so much as a doctor of religious science, but as a practitioner. See, through all of the years of ministry, I've been a minister for 31 years, and I've been a practitioner for 10 years more than that. And all of those years, even during the ministry, I have spent as a practitioner. I think like one. I consider myself as kind of a paper-pushing practitioner. But the first thing I would do when someone comes to me with a difficulty of any kind, and it's like the Philippines, which is humongous and difficult, or a little tiny situation, it would be the same thing, because the infinite knows no big or small, no hard or difficult. So if someone comes to me with a situation that is life-threatening, we sit down, we talk, we pray. And what I've come to be able to do, and because people have changed, people have grown over time. 40 years ago, when I saw people who were very, very ill, sometimes all I could do is pull them off the ceiling. They were so frightened. Today, people think about things differently. We've gone 180 degrees to the right, and they think more about themselves. They understand that hard places and easy places aren't mutually exclusive, that life and death, hard and easy, are two ends of the same stick. It's the same energy that takes care of the one, takes care of the other. So whatever that is hard, we walk through it, we pray through it, we do what is needed. And I have known people in their great distress to come up with some of the most beautiful, creative ideas, writings, activities that they never would have done, ever. Now, I don't wish anybody that kind of a position, but oh, some of the gifts that they received in those hard places. They were wonderful.
Thank you. Do you have any advice for me and for this particular community?
Advice for you?
that you can share publicly?
Actually, from what I can see, I think Dr. David and all of you folks have a very good handle on what is wanted and needed. First you pray, then you plan, then in the world of visioning, which is, I think of it differently than a lot of people. People use vision as a verb. Let's vision for this, let's vision for that. I don't. I see it as a way to open up to something that is so large, that is so far beyond the horizon we may never even get there. But we move toward it. And in this place, you can move toward whatever your heart's desire. This place can do whatever it wants. And this person is a wonderful leader. You are blessed. You are absolutely blessed to have him. Where's my money?
Do you all have any questions?
They wouldn't dare.
Okay, Reverend Dr. Margaret Stortz, would you be willing to give us a spiritual mind treatment? And for those of you who are relatively new here, spiritual mind treatment is the lexicon we use for affirmative prayer, so we can change our thinking and change our lives.
Okay.
And
Surely.
Reverend Stortz, Dr. Stortz, while you do that, Dave Dumont, would you be willing to bring some music into the room? I invite all of you to move into prayer pose, whatever that means for you.
Surely there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That is the standard on which we stand. That is the belief. That is the knowledge that we espouse. We live, move, and have our being in the presence of God. God lives itself through us as we live our lives in God. There is no separation. No matter how far away we may seem to be sometimes from our spiritual centers, we can never, ever be separated from the life, the love, the passion, and the creativity of the infinite. And so this day, I accept for each of us that we are open to good, that we are open to the gifts of the Spirit, which come to us from moment by moment by moment by moment. I accept with all of us here the fulfillment of every heart's desire. Right place, right self-expression, right sufficient living, all the money and supply we could want or need to take care of every need, every opportunity to bring our very special gifts into life. For we are something of a great recycling system. God gives to us, we give forth into life. And it continues and continues and continues. For all that God has for us, for the fulfillment of all that lies within your hearts, I do give thanks. And in trust believing, we release our conversation, the prayer itself, into the mind of God for perfect manifestation by saying, and so it is.
Reverend Dr. Margaret Stortz.
Thank you. Thank you. Buy books.
While the ushers move forward to help us with the sharing of our gifts and tithes and offerings, I'd like to invite you to take your gift and maybe put it over your heart if you feel called, but to say with me our giving affirmation. The more joy I share, the more joy is coming to me. The more love I share, the more love is coming to me. The more peace I share, the more peace is coming to me. The more abundance I share, the more abundance is coming to me. As I give, I receive. As I radiate, I attract.
It's church. What's wrong with you people? Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's time for our little segment that I like to call, and so it is the game show. No? Okay. In front of a live studio audience? No? We good? The dating game where I get to give you a bunch of dates? Oh. All right, fine. Be that way. I'm so grateful. I know, thank you. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Michelle. You guys are awesome. The choir is having a concert on December 13th. Yeah. It is our holiday. It's a holiday concert, yes? Yes. And so it's an amazing evening with the Global Heart Choir. And tickets are available in Fellowship Hall today. And online as well. Although I heard this morning that there might be a little snag with the online purchasing, but we sent an email to IT. We're working on it. So if you can't get your ticket online today, try again, and you can get it live in Fellowship Hall. So first up, Vanna Lundry will come up and assist me. Dr. Margaret is selling her book today and doing a book signing right on the other side of that window in Fellowship Hall today after service. You can come and be part of that and get your book. Our 6 p.m. service this evening is featuring Megan Dake Morrell, senior in ministerial school. I love to say that because I'm past that. Oh, and tomorrow night at 6:30, we have our new member class, new member orientation. So if you'd like to become a member on record of the center, then you can come to that class. If you get a chance, try to register online today or at the concierge after service. And this Friday night, we will be having an ordination celebration right here. I know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Our choir will be, oh, it's for me. It's my ordination. You guys, it's so fun. Last Sunday, I let everyone know that if you could RSVP for the ordination, then I will actually be in my body while I'm in here being ordained rather than worrying that we don't have enough food, because I'm Italian, and that's where my mind will go immediately. I'll look at the crowd and go, OMG. So thank you. I'm really excited about it. And on Wednesday night, we will be sitting in the silence again. It's beautiful. We have had the most holy Wednesdays. So our Practice Makes Permanent class will be an opportunity to come, sit in the silence, and then enjoy a meal together in the silence. This is the last Wednesday we'll be doing that. And then we have Thanksgiving Wednesday, which I'll tell you about. And then starting December 19th, the silence and celebration together and food together will move to Thursdays. And let's see, next Sunday, November 24th, is new member installation. So all of those folks who take the class tomorrow night will be installed as new members next Sunday. And on the 23rd of November, Reverend Tony Cormier is hosting her annual memorial service, or our annual memorial service. It's at 2 in the afternoon, and it's a beautiful opportunity for those who have lost a loved one, either this year, in the distant past. It doesn't matter. It's a time to come together as a community and just be in celebration of life together. And on the 24th, also next Sunday, our gift shop is having a pre-Black Friday sale. You don't have to deal with the crowds. You don't have to go to Target. You can boycott Thanksgiving shopping and everything, and come here, and all of the gift shop merchandise will be 30% off. So it's a great way to support your center and get your shopping done. And on the 27th, Thanksgiving Eve, we're really excited because, first of all, it's one of my favorite nights. We do our Thanksgiving Eve gratitude service, which is at 7. But at 5:30, the Women's Connection Group is hosting our Bowls of Thanksgiving. It's a community soup dinner prior to the 7 p.m. service, and tickets are only $10 for that. They're available in Fellowship Hall. And also, we have community-painted bowls. Different members of our community went to petroglyphs and did these bowls, and they are up for silent auction in Fellowship Hall. This one says best soup ever. I bet you can't guess who did that one. So you can bid on a bowl as well if you like. If you're interested in donating soup, bread, if you'd like to be part of the setup team or the cleanup team, again, please stop in Fellowship Hall at the table where you see all the bowls lined up, and we'd love to have you volunteer your sacred Seva selfless service that evening. And what else? the 29th, the Women's Connection is having, they're so sweet. You know how the Women's Connection always does their Eat, Pray, Love gathering on the 4th Friday of every month? This month they moved it to the 5th Friday because they wanted to be in support of my ordination, so I'm deeply grateful. But on the 5th Friday, they're having dinner at Maggiano's and then going to Cine Arts to see a movie. And please remember, we only have today and one more Sunday left to support our November outreach project, which is Second Harvest Food Bank. Okay, Linda, tell them what they've all won. Okay, then, back to me. You have actually won an opportunity to have a seat under the windows after service, where one of our licensed practitioners who will move over to the windows right now, they're on their way right now. All those who will be praying with you are moving over to the windows right now. Anytime now, they're moving to the windows so that you can see who they are. They'll wave at you, and they would be happy to pray with you after service. It is our gift. It's an opportunity for you to have an experience of being with a practitioner who will be a container for transformation for you. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Reverend Susan. Would you all please stand and take the hand of the person on your left and on your right? And silently help me thank Ann Marshall and Dr. Margaret Stortz for helping us out today with the message, and for this choir, this beautiful choir, and for each of you. And for a community that would cause something like Bat Kid to emerge. That to me was the perfect day, because everybody came together for a cause. So the cause now is a world that works for everyone, and you have a role in it. So join me in knowing that God is where you are right now. And the only thing that we will ever need to do is look inside ourselves, because it is there we will find that we are guided and directed and sustained and inspired by this God that knows only good. And joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do, and so it is. So it is. And please, as is our custom, repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my
Life is in my finances.
Life is in my finances.
Life is in Dr. Stortz's book sales. I see it, I think it, I feel it, I believe it, I accept it, I express it, just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.